Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode with your girl Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring. Hopefully, you guys are having a lovely evening. So let's see. So many things going on. So hopefully, you are here to get some learning done. So as I did put in one of my posts, this is something that keeps coming up. So I really want to address this. I really want you guys to learn and to understand this. This is basically doing the adding and subtracting of integers. So regardless if you're taking the GED, the ASVAB, the ACCUPLACER, any form of a TEAS or nursing assessment, it doesn't matter what assessment you're taking, what course you're taking, you need to understand the meaning of addition and subtracting of those integers, those positive and negative numbers. So without this, I don't know how you keep track of, how do you know that you are doing something that's profitable? How do you know that your business is hemorrhaging money? How do you know that you are actually going to be able to save enough money for a trip? How do you know that you're going to be able to pay for your college? How are you going to know that you're just going to be able to exist? Right? So we have to understand those positive and negative numbers. So if you are, or if you know anyone that is taking any kind of math classes, maybe they just need a quick refresher. These are the things that you guys keep asking. Why is the answer 9 instead of -9? Why is the answer 12 instead of -12? We are going to get down to the nitty of the gritty and get it on down. So go ahead, as soon as you guys come on in, go ahead and start tapping. We're going to get started once we hit that 1K. I hope you have your paper. I hope you have your mind. As my friend Lynette would say, open up your mind. Let's get that mindset right, because you can get this thing called math done. You can make this test your B, to put it so nicely. All right? You can, and you will. So, hey Amber, hey Robert, thanks guys for coming on in. Thank you so much for everyone else that is here. Go ahead and just tap away. We're almost there. And as you can see, we got my lovely little number line up and ready to go. So as I usually say on all my stuff, if you are looking and you would love to stay, but you know what, you're at work, guess what? You can come here. All you have to do is type in here or here, my name, and then just do these 5 things, okay? So that's all you got to do. All of my replays of all my lives are here, okay? So it's a free subscription. Go ahead, sign yourself up, and then just go ahead and watch some of the videos, all right? Everyone keeps saying long form videos is the way to go. Trust me, they're long, okay? All right, so we are here. Let's get it. Let's go. Thank you so much for everyone that is joining and stopping by. Now, integers. Integers, if you remember the different types of numbers. Let me put that off to the side over here and possibly give it a little zoom so you don't have to strain your eyes a bit. So when it comes to the different types of numbers, first you're going to have your counting numbers. So counting numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You count on your fingers, count on your toes, maybe even count on the tip of your nose. So those are going to be your counting numbers. So after the counting numbers, you have your whole numbers. Now your whole numbers is basically your counting numbers on your digits plus 0. So you start with 0, then you continue on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to positive infinity. But then you have this thing called integers. And this is when your math life went all upside down. Because you're like, okay, yeah, I got my 5 plus 7, that gives me 12. All right, that's okay. And then all of a sudden, you came to school one day, happy and cheerful, and then your teacher all of a sudden says, let's do integers. And you're like, what the heck is that? And then all of a sudden, you got something called positive and negative numbers. Yeah, that's when life just went to crap. That And then all of a sudden they talked about algebra. There's letters with numbers, and you're like, say what? So integers is when we're dealing with positive and negative numbers. And we, right now, are going to deal with the whole numbers and the pure operation of that. So I'm bringing out the old time number line, okay? So when I was trying to look up number lines, I noticed a lot of number lines that's online starts at 0 and goes all the way to positive infinity. And I'm like, all right, that's not going to help us here, because a lot of us don't understand when we add and subtract these numbers. So I'm going to be using a pencil for some of our jumps, and then I'm going to write down what is our expressions. So let's say we have 3 plus a negative 4. And I know when I do these operations, I always refer it to money. But I want to show you what is actually happening. So since we go from left to right, we're going to start at 3. Boom. Now, this is telling me what direction I need to go in and how many times I need to jump. So now they're talking about negative 4. So that means I'm going, anytime it's a negative, I'm going to the left. All right. So if I'm starting at 3 and I'm going to the left 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that gives me a negative 1. So 3 plus negative 4 gives me a negative 1. So what happens if I get 3 minus a negative 8? This trips us up each and every time. And I know as we are really advanced, all of you guys are awesome advanced, but sometimes we get tripped up on this. So notice I have a minus and negative. And I know we start throwing that rule like, okay, when you minus a negative, it turns positive. But I'm going to show you why it turns positive. So here we start at 3. And like I said, when you see minus, you're usually going to the left. But it's almost like, and don't act like you never do this, it's almost like you're ready to leave, you got all your stuff with you, you're about to walk out the door, and then you realize before shutting the door, oh my God, I left my keys in the house. So then you're about to walk out the door, and then you're like, oh no, I forgot my keys. So that means I have to double back. Okay, without making that full step, you're like, wait, forgot my keys, got to go back into the house. So we're right back to where we started. And now we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so when you minus a negative, it's almost like you're doubling back. I'm walk out the door. Nope, got to turn right back around to get my keys. Okay, and my keys is all the way back into the kitchen. So that means I have to go all the way back to the house. So when you are dealing with a minus a negative, you're doubling back. When you're doubling back, it's really turning itself into a positive thing. You're going back into the house. You feel that your house is a safe place. Okay? So that's why when you're doubling back, that's why it's not negative 5. Okay? Thank you, Sheldon. Appreciate that. All right. Now, there is a huge difference, which this does give me 11. There is a huge difference between this and, I'm going to switch colors. There's a huge difference between that and 3 minus 8. Okay. So in this case, we're starting at 3. But we're minusing 8, so that means I'm going to the left 8 spaces. So I'm making 8 jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's why this is -5. So if you can't remember the rules, you can use a number line just as a refresher. Okay, good, Eris. There we go. All right, so do we see the difference between 3 minus a -8 and 3 minus 8? Okay, when we're doubling up, it's turning into a positive. When we're not doubling up, you're basically subtracting. Okay, all right, Jackie, good. All right, so these are the things that usually screws people up, because when you write it, this is exactly what you do when you write, let me see for this one. Every time you're going to do a substitution, you always forget that there is originally a minus sign. For some reason, our brain just ignores it. You're like, oh, okay, well, there's a minus sign that I'm putting in, so I don't need to worry about the minus sign that's already in the formula. That happens a lot when we're doing slope, okay? Because the rule of slope, and I'm going to put that over here in pencil. The rule of slope is your y2, I think you can read that. Let's see. Sort of, kind of. Your y sub 2 minus your y sub 1 over your x sub 2 minus your x sub 1. Okay? That's the original formula for slope. And we're going to get back to slope soon. But we need to get this down before we do anything. And if I were to substitute a negative for the y1 or the x1, for some sick and twisted reason, we ignored that it originally has a minus sign. So like say you were substituting a -4 for the y1. You would say, I don't know, 5 minus 1. Or 5 minus whatever I said. Okay? Sometimes my brain's losing all this. Okay? You just ignore that it already has a negative. So when you're substituting, you're actually just substituting for this y1, not for the negative that is in front or that minus sign that's in front. You're only substituting for the y1. Those are the things that they will actually have. One of the answers, GED, ASVAB, ACCUPLACER, SAT, ACT, any kind of test that you can come up with, they will always have one of the answers filled in or as one of the choices to be just in case you don't change the signage. All right. Thank you so much. Hey, Janice, how are you? Right. Algebra made me like math. Good job. So that's what's going on. Our brains, when we substitute, we have to put parentheses, the power of parentheses around negative numbers. And remember, you're not substituting or replacing the minus sign. The reason why it changes is because you're minusing a negative. All right? So let's try another one. So let's say we have 7 minus a -4. Okay, you can use my little number line if you want. What would be the answer of 7 minus -4? So if it's addition, it'll be add, not subtract. So if it's addition, if the signs, and this is the thing, I forgot who said that. If this is user, I'm going to say 2786. There's a whole bunch of numbers after that. When the signs are the same, you're going to be adding, and I'm going to show you that in a second. When the signs are different, you're actually going to be subtracting. So let's take a look. So I got Aries is saying 11, Kaya 11, it's Moraine 11, Latavia 3, Ma, hi Ma. Saying 11. Hey, so 11. Okay, Tillman. How are you, Tillman? Welcome back. 11. Clayton. Hold on, it just went a little crazy. Okay, you meant 11. Latavia. Okay, got you. Clayton with 2. Jazz and Jazz. I'm just gonna say Jazz. 11. Okay, Tillman 11. I see you. Martinez 3. Okay, Tillman, I got you. My goodness. Okay. No, do not apologize. Like, guys, this is why I have this platform, so we can make sure that we get a lot of these concepts correct. Okay? This is something that a lot of people lose points on, and I don't want you to lose points. So we're just doing a learning experience. There's no need for apologies. You're not insulting me whatsoever. Okay, Jackie 11, good. Okay, Van, make sure it is a positive 11. Okay, Tillman, seriously? You okay, baby? Are you okay? Michael, hello, 11, good. User, make sure it's positive. Okay, my mom is watching. Okay. That would be amazing because she has no idea how to do social media. Like none. Okay, so we got 11 with Desmos. Hello. Are we doing absolute values? No, we did absolute values before. We're just doing simple adding and subtracting of integers. That's all we're doing. I said hi, Mom. Oh, no, that was a person's name. No, that was a person's name. Okay, so we got that. Hey, Tam, thank you so much. A negative and negative cancels out and becomes positive. Yes, they don't really cancel out. I don't want to say cancel out. Okay, no problem. All right, no problem, Jackie. So they're not really canceling out. They are transforming. I know it's a simple word, but I really want you to understand. The only way that things can cancel out if one is positive and one is negative. That's the only way things can cancel out. So if you see a minus, a negative, they transform into positives. So then 7 plus 4 will give us our 11. If you want to see it on the number line, if I start here at 7, I'm about to walk out the door and I said, nope, I forgot my keys. Now let me start back for where I was. Now I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm right here at positive 11. All right. So let's try this one. Okay, negative 8 minus negative 1. So what grade level? This is mostly like, I want to say pre-algebra, but at the same time, it's always seen in Algebra 1 and is definitely seen anything from Algebra 1 on up. Okay. Should need to watch. He's taking geometry in high school. Okay, Tim. Yes. All right. Good, Tal. Is that Talon or Tale? Okay, good. Hello, sir. How are you? Nice to see you again. All right, so let's take a look. Oh no, my thing's going crazy. It makes sense. Okay. But see, here's the thing. A lot of people don't see it. And then plus, there's a lot of people that are starting to go into the community college and they haven't seen math since they were a fetus. So now they're going back into school. A lot of people are about to start classes on Monday. And I really want people to feel confident on the first week of school. Because usually after the first, maybe the second session, that's when everything gets all kinds of crazy. And it all stems from not understanding this. So that's why I'm kind of working on this, okay? All right. So we got Alicia with -7. No problem. Okay, Aries -7. Demis, -7, cousin, -9, LB, -9, Tal, -9, create honey, -9, Jazz, -7, spare bird, -7. You're saying about 6th grade? Okay. But it's also depending on when people are taking algebra, because I know some kids that take algebra, oh my God, so young. They're just starting so early. Where am I? Jazz, -7. I think I said that already. Michael, -7. Cousin, -9. Octavia, -9. Joseph, -9. Erica, -7. Is it Melina? -7. Amber, -7. Beauty, -7. Just tally? Okay. All right. Got you. All right. -9. Yorish. Okay. Not understanding. Sorry, but I did come in late. Not a problem, Angela. I'm going to get you all caught up. Okay. Just stick with me. I was able to do math in higher grade when I was lower. So did algebra in 7th. Yep. That's why I just say sometimes when you guys ask what grade this is from, some kids start early. Some kids start late. So I just go by content. Okay, that's me. If you okay. All right, I think start algebra late, starting in 8th grade, 9th, 2 negatives, make a positive. Okay, so here we go. Let me zoom in because I think a lot of people are not seeing that this 8 is negative. And I do agree. Who said it? I think it was Stitch. That said 2 negatives make a positive. But you're not changing the -8. Remember back in the day, like maybe about a month ago, we have something called keep, change, flip. Okay? We're not doing anything to that -8. That -8 stays exactly the same. But when you minus a negative, it's going to the right, not to the left. You don't change everything. You just change that minus sign and this -1. So this turns into a +1. Okay? So remember, you're doubling up. If I start here at -8, okay, they wanted me to go down. But I said, oh, forgot my keys. I got to start right back where I'm at. So that's at 8. So now I got to go to 1. Boom. 1 step. So that takes me to -7. Okay. So -8 plus 1. If you want to think of it as money, that's what really a lot of students really connects with me with. When I said you owe me $8 and you paid me $1, that means you still owe me $7. We're not doing that fake girl math stuff that people keep promoting. No, I want my money. Give me my $7, right? All right. Here we go. All right. Right. So we're changing it to addition. But if you notice, take a look. The signs are not the same. The 8's negative and the 1's positive. So when they're not the same, you're really subtracting and you're taking the signage of the larger number. Don't look at it as a -8 when we're trying to figure out which is the larger number. 8 is larger than 1. So that means I'm taking the sign of the largest number. Okay, so that's how we're getting our -7. All right. So I think this is what really happens. If you think of it as money, especially as we're getting older, we understand money. We understand when people owe us money. And trust me, I'm the type of person, I'll be like, hi, how you doing? Everything's great? That's great. Yeah. Oh, going to Starbucks? Oh, that's cute. That's cute. Where's my money? Damn your Starbucks. Give me my cold hard cash. After you pay me up, then you can have all the fun and the joy of Starbucks, all that you want. So that's just me. All right. Right. Yes. See? Sometimes we got to be a little forceful, people. We really want to get our whole hard cash. All right. So let's take a look at another one. So noticing, I'm trying to switch things up. Let me put it down here. Okay, how about this? Okay. Show me first one. Yes. And that's okay, spare bird. We got you. See, this is what we're going to do with the whole process. So Alicia is saying -2. Amber's saying -2. Okay, Aries, I forgot to say, welcome back, Aries. It's -2. Cousins, -2. Spare bird, there you go, -2. One Chicago, -2. Milano, -2. Yorish, -2. All right, yes. Anyone else that if you think that needs this, again, if you're at work and you're like, man, I really want to pay attention and I can't. Remember, all of my lives are here. Okay, all of my lives are recorded and uploaded here. Okay, the one live that I had, I think on Thursday, took almost 2 days for me to upload. Like, seriously? Why? I have no idea. But if anything, you can type in my name or you can type in ACG Math Tutoring and it'll take you right to it. And it says TikTok Lives. It's really not that deep. So all of my lives from February 2nd is all there. Sorry. Here we go. I'm going to take it off in like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So you do have options. Anthony, how are you? Okay. Erica said -2 and Felicia said -2. Awesome. Okay, since we didn't add or subtract anything to the -2, that 0 is just a placeholder. Anytime you see a 0, it's just a placeholder. So basically, it's like, whatever. Don't worry about it. So that will just give you what's left over, which is my -2. Okay. Yup. There you go, Sokatawa. Sorry. Okay, so it all depends on where you're from. Okay, a lot of people will say, yeah, we got PEMDAS. But right now, it's really just getting the basic stuff down. It doesn't really have to just be PEMDAS. Maybe if you're international, you guys use the BODMAS instead. I forgot what it means, the meaning that you guys put behind it. Very similar, but we do have that ready. Okay, so anytime you're adding, okay, even if I switch this up and I said, even if I said 0 minus a -2, what will be my answer? Yep, it's on the A, and also you can order through me. Yep, it's true. Good, Aries, cousin. Good, Beauty saying -2. My multiple heads is saying 6 or 7. Yours is saying +2. Okay, book 3, got you. 1, Chicago is saying 2. Okay, another one saying -2. Okay, keep change flipped. Yes. Wait, no, 2. There you go. Way to self-correct. Good job. I love that. Because that's how you know you're learning, when you're able to self-correct. Okay? So, it's going to be a yes, a +2. Because here we go with this. Don't really need the 0. If I minus a negative, it always changes into a positive. So it's really 0 plus 2. And 0 plus 2, that will give me my answer of 2. Okay. You're good? All right. But still, D. Phillips, you were just compelled and drawn in by my lovely voice. You know. Okay, let's try this. So we have -4. If you want to think about it, okay, you got -$4 in your credit card. Then, you know how they love to let you spend $4 more. what's going on right here? So -4 plus -4, what do we have? So when it's the same sign, you use the keep, change, flip. When they're the same signs, no. When you are subtracting, that's when you do the keep, change, flip. I'm not the calculus person, sorry. Okay, if you're serious enough, I can lead you to the right direction. Okay, can I talk about the order of operations? I've done that a couple of times already. If anything, if you go to my YT channel, there is multiple videos on that for my lives. So, cousin, we got -8. My lovely friend from overseas, I got -8. Juan, Chicago, -8. Yorish, -8. Michael, -8. Latavia, -8. Cowhide, +8. Double check your signs. Okay. Kaya saying negative. Okay. Cowhide, +8. Check your signs. Okay. Is that Sweta? Say -8. I always want to say Melania. No, definitely not that. Okay, so Apache Paint 8. Okay, negative plus a negative equals a positive. No. Nope. Okay. The only time it changes to a positive is when you have, if I have it over here, when you have a negative times a negative times. That's when it changes, not when you're adding them. When you're adding them and they're both negative, you're keeping the signage, okay? So if you're keeping the sign, yes, Kylie, I think there's a couple of people in here that get, yes, Jackie, yes, Kylie, yes, Sam, yes, oh, sorry, Samshi? Okay, Shell, yes. Okay, user, it's not going to be 0. The only way it can be 0 if you have a negative plus a positive. Okay, if they're opposite signs, you subtract. When they're the same signs, you add them together. See, there is a reason for this live. Okay, I love you all dearly. Sinking deeper into debt. Exactly. Love that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I love that. Okay, there's something going on. You said book 3. Okay. What is the exact name of the book? Which book are we talking about? I got so many books right now. Oh, book 3. That's definitely Audrey's notes. Sorry, I haven't done with. Okay, thank you. I'm glad you're teaching us. Not a problem. Not a problem. Because these are the things that throws a lot of people off. It doesn't even matter if it's math. If we can't get this stuff down, or at least feeling pretty good about it, trust me, life is going to be crazy. All right, so let's try this. Let's say -3 plus 5. Okay, -3 plus 5. If you want to use the number line, I can show you the number line. So -3 plus 5. Okay. So Jocelyn's saying 2. Aries is saying 2. KCF is for dividing fractions? No. KCF, or keep, change, is only for subtracting. Okay, only for subtracting. Latavia is saying 2, Erica 2, yours 2, user 8123, and all that says -2. Amber 2, Marvel saying +2. Correct me, please, Lewis, when you get a chance. Cousin saying 2. Baby, how are you, dear? It's been a minute. Saying 2. User 8123 saying 2. Michael R saying 2. Friendly friend saying 2. One Chicago saying +2. Love it. Yes, not well. What's wrong? Is it Marvel or Marvel or Marvelly? Saying two. Okay, Beauty saying two. Welcome back, Beauty. Oh, kidney problems. Yes. Hydrate. Lots of cranberry juice, baby girl. Lots of cranberry juice. Not to the point that you're going to float away, but also, drink a couple glasses of cranberry juice and some water. Okay. Hydrate. Can you show on the number line? Of course. Not a problem. All right, so we have -3 plus 5. So we're going to start at -3. Since it says plus 5, that means I'm moving to the right 5 times. So here's my jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And where did I land? I land at 2. Okay, I land at 2. If you want to think advance-wise, the signs are opposite. This is negative, this is positive. When the signs are opposite, we're really subtracting. 5 minus 3, that will give me 2. And it's going to give me a positive 2 because my 5 is bigger than 3. And my 5 is positive. Okay, no problem. Okay. I'm supposed to use them. So confused. Okay. All right. Okay. So how are we doing? Okay. So other ways you can think of it, I have $5 and I want to spend $3. So if I have $5, I spent $3, that means I have $2 left. Yeah. All right, awesome. Okay, let's try this one. All right. Okay. So when you're adding two numbers with different signs, you subtract, keep the sign of the larger number. Yes, Jocelyn. Yes. Sorry, I had to backtrack. It's like there was a lot of conversation going on here. I just had to check. Okay. Good. I'm glad you're all right, Beauty. Good. Can you say it like someone owes you money? So if someone's owing me money, so if someone owes me money and you paid me $5, that means you overpaid me $2, if you want to put it that way. I think that was cousin. So like someone owed me $3, but they gave me $5, so they overpaid me $2. So I made $2. Yay. That's going to be in the positive. So you can think of it that way if you want to. Okay. All right. So we got those. So I have a mixture, let's see, and it is the same mixture that I'm thinking of. Okay, so Aries said 2, yours says 2, Amber says 2, Jocelyn says -10, our friend from above says 2, this is just review, okay, my dark circle saying -2, is that Iman? is saying -10. Yours, I saw your 2. Bebe is saying -10. Loctavia said -10. Marv, I don't even haven't gone. So Marv, am I going with that? Saying 2. Chicago saying -8. Jocelyn saying 2. My dark circle saying I mean 2. Erica 2. Tillman -10. 1. Chicago -8. Yorish, I got you, Yorish. Saying 2. Okay. All right. Oh, you changed your answer. Hold on. Okay, so would it be 2? There we go. So we have niche. You should do a video on geometry proofs for me. If you want videos of geometry proofs, I do have some things. But if you want that, you need to tutor. Charge me for my tutoring. I charge $87 an hour. Okay, hello, +2. Hello, Robin. Welcome on in. Okay, Chicago -10. Yours too, -10. All right, David -10. I'll try one more time. How many times, yours? You're saying the same answer. Yep, it's 87. Yep, and I'm worth every blessed penny. All right, where were you when I needed a while back? Doing a fantastic job. Hey, thank you. All right, user is -24. We're not multiplying. If there is a plus or a minus sign in between the 2 parentheses, that means there's an operation going on. If there is nothing in between the parentheses, we're multiplying. Okay, that's how you can tell the difference between adding, subtracting, and multiplying. So every time you get a problem, stop for a second. Everybody's like, oh, here's a problem. Let me hurry up and solve it. Like a maniac. Slow down. Take a look. Look at the clues that they're giving you. All right, there's a minus sign, but right to the right of it is another negative. So when I minus a negative, that bad boy's turning to a positive. We got our keep, change, flip. We keep that -4, we change that minus to a plus, and then we flip the sign. So instead of a -6, it's a +6. So now what we're looking at is -4 plus 6. The signs are opposite. So if the signs are opposite, I'm going to see if we can give this a go. Someone owes me $4. They gave me $6. So they overcharged me, or they gave me an extra $2. And that's a positive thing. That's a good thing. I like getting extra money. Don't you? So that's why it's going to be a positive too. All right. Besides that, with double negatives. Yep. Sounds like math voodoo. Yes. Voodoo, voodoo. All right. So here we go. That's it. All right. So the negative sign and the -6 turns to a positive sign. Yes, Ryan. There you go. So that'll give us a positive 2. Good. Here we go. Marvally. Marvally. Okay. Got it, I think. All right. All righty then. Okay. Let's try 2 more, and then we're going to switch over, and I'm going to see, because I think you're starting to get it. Okay, I hope you're starting to get it. So let's look at 4 minus -4. Okay, 4 minus -4. Yes, it is, Bran. Okay. Why do you think it will confuse students later? Okay. So Justin's saying 8, Aries saying 8, you're saying 8, Marvali saying 8, Erica saying 8, Kai saying 0. Hey, Danny. How are you? Okay. Amber saying 8, Sugar saying 8, Kai saying 0. distribute negative, okay? So you got your 8, 8, okay? Danny's saying 8. Nisha saying 16, Lexi 8, David 0, Rudy 8. Your total worth or penny, but I don't know. It says kind of steep. What kind of help do you do in tutoring? Basically, everything that you see here on my lives, plus SAT, ACT, college algebra, pre-calc. Keep change flip is a way to simplify rationals over rationals. Okay. But that's not the only way, though. Because some people don't do keep change flip. And then plus, it also depends on the Mercalator. Where are you located? Because it's also a demographic thing, too. Because some people, instead of saying KFC, they say KCC, which is keep change change. So there's like more than one way. I can't try one more time. Okay. So the wreath above saying 16, Catherine saying 0. Okay, Jocelyn, I think you were subtract or add two numbers with different signs. That's what confuses us. Okay. So we have Sheldon with 8. Okay, what's the answer? Wait, how far into calculus? Keep change, reciprocate. All the same process. Exactly. Okay, so what we got? All right. So when you minus a negative, okay, you minus a negative, what's happening? It changes to a positive. Okay. Okay, remember, you're at 4. You're about to leave the house. Oh, you got to start right back where you're at, and then you're adding 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it takes us right to 8. So once it changes, the only time it changes when you minus a negative. Okay? Are confusing. Okay. So here's a distributive property. Yeah, learn by properties. Yep. So that's what's so interesting. There's multiple ways of saying the same thing. Okay? Yeah. Because exactly, Aries. Thank you. Because that's exactly what I was about to say. Everyone learns differently. So if you're just telling your kids doing the reciprocal, or you're just telling your kids just this way, it is going to be confusing. Because, like I said, if I change it into money, I knew a couple people were like, oh, I get that now, because we can make that association. But you're giving them the same answer. So we can. Yeah, Jocelyn, we're definitely going to. Okay? Okay? And AC wants you to identify the property. Not all the time. Not all the time. That part I do disagree with. Yeah, not all the time they want you to identify the property. Yep. So, anywho, so let's try this one. This gets a lot of people. Think about what we're doing. Okay, take your time. Take your time. Look into it. What do you think? Okay. 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 All right, so yours is saying 12. Okay. All right, so 3005. Say you remember keep flip change. Okay. Yeah, because I used to get students that either the teacher did keep flip change or keep change change, and I would just always say, look, let's merge it all into one. Which would you prefer? And I would have like my second period class will rather do keep change change. And my third period class will keep flip change. And then we don't even want to discuss my fifth and sixth period class. So they'll just do something that is against all kinds of district rules, but it helps them to remember. So it's like I took it upon me as the teacher, but like, okay, let me keep track of which works for which kids. And I just take it and I run with it. Okay. So Aries, we're saying 0. T, we're saying 12. Kai is saying 12. Amber, 12. Okay. 3005 saying 12. Erica, 12. Something just kind of flipped on me. It was like a black hole. I don't know where it went. There we are. Okay, Marvelous saying 12. Danny, 12. Hey, Eric. Is that Hilly saying 12? Yep, 6 plus 6. We got 6 plus 6. 12, my bad, not a problem. Jessica, 12. Okay, Rudy, keep, change, flip. We got 12. Do I teach Algebra 2? Yes, I do. That is my jam, actually. Okay, keep, switch. Oh, that's a new one. Okay. All right, inverse property. Yep, we got the 12. Same signs, add different signs, subtract. Yes, Jessica. Thank you. Hilly, everything you see minus negative change to positive. Yes. Yes, I do. And we got the 12. Hi, Maya. How are you? All right. So, like you say, we got our keep, we got our change, we got our flip. So, we're keeping our 6. Changes to a plus, changes to a positive 6. So, 6 plus 6, that will give me 12. Okay. All right. Okay, is it positive? Yes, it is, Eric. Yes, it is. Positive 12 with Beauty. I think I skipped over you guys. I don't know how that happened. All right, Beauty 12, Michael 12. Is that Genevieve 12? Okay. It's like yes, because I know Michael and his Roman numerals. What did you flip? I flipped that negative 6 to a positive 6. I just flipped the sign. Using the money, please? Sure. So, what do you want? Like with the whole minus the negative thing? So it's almost like, what's the opposite of owing somebody? You're paying somebody. So you're kind of doing the mind flip. You never know, like when people say, oh, here's your money, psych. Right? So I'm about to oh, let me take some money for you, psych. Here's $6. I'm paying you extra. So it's really 6 plus 6. I'm giving them 12. Okay. All right, good. It starts at second number. All right. Let me see. I want to make sure I'm not repeating myself. Okay. And one more. Okay. So if people feel like they're constantly getting it wrong, it's okay. We're going to build from it. There's a reason why this live is in existence. If everyone was perfect, we would not have this here. Okay, so let's give that. Does 2 make the positive? Does 2 negatives make the positive? When you have a minus and negative like this, yes, it will make it into a positive. Yes, yeah. Okay, so yours is saying 1. Air's is saying 1 with a question mark. Amber's saying 1. Jackie's saying 1. Okay. Hey, Big Al. That's okay. We're going to get it together. It's not as crazy as the last live, Big Al. Okay. Marva Lee saying 1. Barbara, hello Barbara, welcome in, saying 1. Oh, Shasan saying 1. How are you? No problem. Hilly saying 5. Mama 3D saying 1. Genevieve saying 1. Rudy 1. Okay, not sure. Okay. So when you minusing a negative, okay, it's never the first number. It's always what's happening here. When you minus a negative, it turns positive. Bring down our -2. Okay, so you owe somebody $2. You gave them $3. That means you overpaid them by 1. There you go, Ma. There it is. My job's going all right. Okay, so change to positive. There you go, Yaya. You got it? Good. See, look at you. All right. So anytime you see a minus and a negative next to each other like this, you're changing it to a positive. Okay, every time when you see a minus and negative, you're changing it to a positive. If you want to keep it as the whole process, which I'm going to show you a little bit of multiplication, all right? So anytime this was the same thing that was going on here. When you minus a negative, it changed to a positive. So some people like to remember it's keep, change, flip, or keep, change, change, or what was the other one? Keep, switch, switch. Okay, keep it, change it, switch it. Yes, such a big help. Good. All right, well, thank you. Not a problem. Okay, +3. Okay, this one's tricky. Yes. Okay, so this is just called integer operations. All we're doing right now was just adding and subtracting integers. Okay, so if you want to do a search on integer operations, there are plenty of worksheets for you to look at different practices. It's all there, okay? Because this is basically the heart and soul. How do you know if you're making money? How do you know you're losing money? All right. Okay, so I'm going to flip to the other side because we're going to switch over from adding and subtracting to now multiplying and dividing. Now, multiplying and dividing is not as strenuous as addition and subtraction. The rule is the same for both of them. Okay, that's what makes it so fun. All right, thanks so much for the follows, everybody, and for the shares. Okay, continue to tap the screen as best you can. I appreciate that. Because if you know of anyone that's going after their GED, the ASVAB, the ACCUPLACER, the SATs, the PSATs, because I am actually going to be doing something with PSATs, because I'm starting to get, how should I say, popular? I don't know if I think that's a bit much. In Puerto Rico, actually. It's kind of nice. Sorry, I had to do the puzzle piece thingy. Okay. Teacher certification. Yes. Okay. If you're trying to go after the praxis. And I know I'm probably saying terms that you don't think it fits you, but GED is high school equivalent. Okay. ASVAB is for anyone that's thinking about going into the military, is that military exam, which we actually are getting a lot of good success with that. ACCUPLACER, if you're thinking about going to community college, you have to take a test to figure out what math class they're going to put you in. And if we can get you to score high enough to go into college algebra, that is the first accredited course. If you're trying to do intermediate algebra 1, 2, or some of them 3, that means you're paying for these courses to prepare you for college algebra. So that means you're paying money for a course that you're not getting accreditation for. I don't know. I want to get that. All right. So TEAS test, nursing has different versions, okay? They have different names for their TEAS tests. Yes, if you're taking algebra or if you're doing any kind of math, you need all of this, okay? So this is a great thing. Let's see. You're studying for your GED, but I'm not at math yet, but you're teaching me well. Good, awesome. TEAS for nursing, got you. This is a perfect start. Does the ASVAB have a bunch of mathematical word problems? That's all they have. See, the ASVAB, this is how they weed a lot of people out. You can't put it in various languages. It has to be in English. And most of you're not going to see, as I like to say, naked math like this. Most of it is going to be in word problem form. And you're going to have to learn to pull information out. They may give you some kind of problems that say solve. And let me see what I can use. Like something like this. They might give you, when we were doing absolute value the other day, they might give you an absolute value and ask you to solve for it. That's when you're going to say, okay, what are the solutions for this absolute value? They may have like those two answers as your listing. Because remember, for the ASVAB, it's just multiple choice. You're picking A, B, C, or D. That's it. They don't care about what you do for the work. They just care, can you pick the right letter choice? So there's going to be times that you're going to start solving. And once you solve for one, like for this one, I'm looking at my answer choices. And when I look at the answer choice and there's only one of them that has a 3, boom, that's your answer. It's not like what we do when we're in the classroom. These standardized tests, you don't take them just like you take a regular normal test if you were in the classroom. That's where your mindset has to change. Okay, you have to do what's called process of elimination. That's the only way that you can finish this test, because you're given like so much time. Sometimes you're given like a minute 15 for each problem. And there's going to be some problems you can get the answer just like that. Once you get it, don't just sit there and celebrate, keep it moving, because there's going to be some problems that you're going to need that little extra time just to figure out what they're talking about. Okay? I know it sounds like I rambled on, but there is so many different things. And then the GED, it is not all the, let's how I put it, all of the problems are not graded the same. So they're not all worth 1 point. There are some 1 point questions. There's some 2, 3, and 4. 4 is the most. Your 4 point questions is going to be your system of equations, your system of inequalities, anything dealing with graphing, slope, the y-intercept, point slope, anything quadratic, factoring, those volume. My gosh, I almost forgot about that. Volume. If you can hit on those are the ones that a lot of people generally like to skip. When you skip those problems, you automatically fail the GED. Automatically. Okay? Because everything else has that point value of 1 and 2. So the stuff that we're doing right now, these are 1 point questions. Okay? So if I was doing the GED, these are 1 point questions. But if I was talking about slope and trying to find the equation of the line, that's 4 point questions. So you want to get a lot of those 4 point questions so you can pass the GED. Okay? All right. Hi, Maggie. It's like, I love practicing, going to recertify, sub, and different. Yes, retired teacher. Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much for coming in. You're refreshing for the T7. All right, awesome. Would love to know, when are you taking it? Get confused on how to translate it into algebraic. Okay, and here's the funny part. That's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. Are you reading my mind? Because we're going to go from verbal to algebraic and algebraic to verbal. So that's exactly what we're doing tomorrow's live. Going to recertify retired teacher. Yeah, so you love practice. Awesome. Refreshing for a placement test, to take a college statistics course to complete your degree. Awesome. Yes. So these are the things. Again, can you repeat about the GED at the end? Sure, I could definitely do that. Okay, definitely can do that. But right now, I'm not going to do any 4-point questions because we are going back to basics. All right, so now we're going to do a little bit of multiplication. We don't need the number line for the multiplication. We just need to know that multiplication is nothing but fast addition. Okay, so if we have -2 times 8. Notice I am not using an X. Okay? X, I don't know why we still do this. We need to get rid of it. Because once kids or young adults go into advanced math, they're no longer using X to represent multiplication. And the reason why I say that, because this is what I usually see. I would say, oh, okay, I got -2 times X equals 8. And you're like, what's up with the double X? Why are we in porn right now? Like, no, no. But because they carry that over, because they learned that multiplication is X. But as we get older, multiplication can be a dot. Multiplication can be parenthesis, or if it's a number with a variable, it's just written as such. Okay, so there's different ways of representing. I'm sorry about this part. I had a little hiccup. And I was like trying to speak and hiccup at the same time. I'm like, I'm surprised I'm not passed on. All right, so these are the 3 ways that we represent multiplication. Okay, we're not using the X anymore. X is a variable. X is holding a spot for a number that's going to make this equation into a true statement. Okay, does that make sense? I know I'm a nerd. I love it. Nerds rule the world. You love it. All right. So what are we working on? We're working on integers operations. So right now we're doing multiplication. So first off, we have a -2 times a +8. And yes, Marvin Lee, we have -16. Okay. 9th grade, don't understand math. How can she get tutoring? Maggie, make sure you reach out to me. Okay. Send me a private message. Send me a DM. If anything, at the bottom of your screen, there's something called Service Plus. If you click on that and you send me a message, it will actually come directly to my email. Okay, so we can get started ASAP. Because I'm not sure if you guys, like, you're not the only person that's saying that. Because here's the thing. Ready? Our pandemic babies are in the 8th and 9th grade right now. Let that sink in. Our pandemic babies are in the 8th and 9th grade right now. So we can't blame anything, but what we can do is move forward. Okay, so sometimes we just need patience. And if there's teachers on here, which I know there is, please, for the love of all things holy, Mary, Mother of God, Joseph, Jesus, Lord, please do not say, you should know this by now, because the kids don't. And a lot of teachers left last year. A lot of teachers left the year before. So I know some kids that had subs all year last year. Know how I know? Because they found me as a tutor and I end up teaching them. Like all year. Like when I say all year, I meant from September 6th to June. I was basically their teacher. And they were going to school. Not like they were homeschooled. They were going to school. But their teachers were only teaching them piles of paper. You know how you get like the drill of like 2 + 7, 2 + 4, 4 + 9, 2 + 6, and they have like whole rows and columns of stuff, of practice. That's what they were getting every single day. every day for months. I was like, oh no. oh no. All right. So here we go. I know. So here we go. And she's taking Algebra 2 now. And luckily, that's my jam. So if you need me, don't just sit there like, oh, we'll just wait and see how this is. No, catch me early. Because once I get them moving, and if your kid is constantly doing well, then we can stop tutoring. Okay? You don't have to stay with me forever. All right, that's my whole thing. That's how I know you're okay. Because once the kids are going, then all of a sudden they're like, I think I got this. I'm like, all right, then you call me whenever you need me. That's what I do. Okay? All right, because trust me, there's tons. Back to the math. Sorry, I get compassionate about education. All right, so we have -2 and a +8. When the signs are different, your answer is always going to be negative. All the time. Every time. Okay? All the time. So when we take a look, if I say, let me slide this over a little bit. So if I come over here and I talk about -99 divided by 9, what do you think that will give me? Hey, Josie. Oh, thank you. Aries Fire saying -11. Chesson saying -11. Is a whole vibe saying -11. Hey, MJG, how are you? -11. Kai, -11. Big Al, -11. Mama, 3D, -11. Josie, -11. Ma, -11. Marvelli, and -11. Hilly, -11. Good. Amber, -11. Yaya, what time do you go live? 7. I'll be live 7 p.m. tomorrow. Yeah, I just wanted to take in a good day. That's why I started late. I know, I was being selfish. It was just such a nice day, and I really wanted to go for a walk. And then I ended up walking to the gym and did my thing and walking back uphill. Whew, I'm going to have a cramp later on tonight. Can't wait. Michael, -11. And Genevieve, -11. Lisa, welcome in, -11. YSL, -11. Is that Taka Girl? -11. Okay. All right. Awesome. So you notice when the signs are different, you just simply divide, but you're going to have your answer be a negative. So let's say if we had -7 times -4. What's my answer? -7 times -4. Yeah, definitely. Stretch, drink a lot of water. Okay, MJG, yes, 28. Shashan, 28. Big Al, 28. Aries, 28. Yes, it is going to be positive. Good. Josie, 28. Amber, 28. YSL, 28. Lama, 28. Marvali, 28. T, 28. Genevieve, 28. Excellent. The signs are the same. And I know a negative times a negative, this will give you your positive. Okay? When the signs are the same, even if I had, let's say, -90 divided by -9. -90 divided by -9. What do I got? Jonah, positive 28. Thank you. Welcome in. Sheldon, I see you, 28. Thank you for that one. Okay. MGA saying 10. Shisa, 10. Big Al, 10. Aries, 10. Marvet, take a look again. Careful. 90. This time it's 90 divided by 9. Amber, 10. Loma, 10. Jose, 10. Genevieve, 10. Mama, 3D, 10. Yes. And this is going to be a positive 10, because when the signs are the same, your answer is always going to be positive, regardless if you're doing multiplication or if you're doing division. your answer will always be positive. But when your signs are different, okay, your answer is always going to be negative. That's why sometimes when teachers do teach this, and a lot of people do, but I've known some elementary school teachers, some of them will skip certain things. And they actually say some of this. Sometimes I catch them during like professional developments, like when we have to do that for the district, and then they're like, yeah, I skipped that. I'm like, what do you mean you skipped that? So I'm like, okay. Yes, there you go, 10. Can you write your words negative equals positive, or negative, positive equals negative? Sure, I can write that for you. Andy sharing the live. Thank you, Andy, for sharing the live. So actually, why am I doing that? I don't have to do that. Because if I had my handy dandy math notebook, which I do, okay, on the very back, I actually put all this stuff down. Okay, so for multiplication and division, here's your rules of integers. Notice you have a positive times a positive. I had to use the x's. Trust me, the cringe is really happening. So in the purple, basically the signs are the same. So my answer is going to be positive. So in this blue, my signs are different. It doesn't matter if this is negative and this is positive and this is positive and this is negative. My answer is always going to be negative. So same thing that's going on for division. So what's in the beige? We have a positive divided by a positive and negative divided by a negative. My answers are always going to be positive. And if I have a negative divided by a positive or vice versa, my answer is always going to be negative. Okay? Blue's Clues. Yes. How are you, John? All right. Yeah. Try not to skip any steps. Okay? Can you order this? Now, this is not a workbook. This is our notebook. So, like, as your kids are going to school and they want a place to take their notes, okay, this is one of my notebooks that I actually designed, and it has a lot of resources in the back. Like if you're not strong with your multiplication, especially if they're doing factoring or breaking down radicals, I got the factor sheet back here. Then we also have our integers. We have a whole lot of resources. This one is designed for pre-algebra, algebra, and up to algebra 1. So if you are an adult that's taking like college algebra or intermediate algebra, this will be the perfect one for you. Oops. Okay, so it has everything in here, the arithmetic and the geometric sequences. We got a little bit with the distance, speed, and time, central measures of tendency, as well as variation. That's what range is. That drives me nuts too. System of inequalities, system of equations, and then lastly, well, we got area, but then the last part is doing your conversions chart. Okay, most popular ones. So where you can get this is the cover of it. Okay, so we're looking at the cover of it. Where you can get it from the big A. I can't say the word, but you know, the smiley brown box, the big A. You can go there, or you can go to my private bookstore, which is this right here. Okay, so you can get my notebook, you can get Audrey's notes. I also have a left-handed version of the pre-algebra, algebra 1. So for all my lefties out there, look how it opens. Ooh, I know, it's hard to be a lefty. Both my parents are lefties. I actually dedicated this particular book to my father, who has passed now officially over 9 years. And you get the same resources, okay? But you're just doing it for all my little lefties out there, okay? And then it also gives you a nice little space just in case you want to doodle, do some creations. You got your space to do that in. But it's all like 100 pages. But the lefty book is not on Amazon because they do not print left-handed books. So that's why if you want the lefty book, you have to come here. Okay. Okay, this will be awesome. Awesome. And he's a lefty. Yay! I know. Lefties are awesome too. I love when people are just like, why'd you bother do that? Like, is that really vital? Yeah. Yes. Because my mom would tell me horror stories growing up. And she, both my parents are Jamaican. And growing up, back in the day, using your left hand is like the devil's minion, I think it was. My mother is so far away from being a devil's anything. So far from it. Now, me on the other hand, I'm on that verge, just on that cusp. I'm just one situation away of getting arrested. But, we try to keep ourselves calm. Now, if you like my notes, and you're just like, Audrey, I would love to get a copy of your notes. I have what's called Audrey's Notes. So with Audrey's Notes, you can get a copy of all my notes. It all stems from February the 2nd and different versions, different books. Now, for my notes, I don't have a particular order. I just, whatever comes up, that's what I'm doing, and that's what I present. But here's the thing. On the bottom, there's a QR code. Now, this QR code will take you directly to the live that is presenting these notes. So if you want these you can actually just go straight to the live and you'll just follow along. And you can follow along with my notes. Some people like to use it for mediation. I've seen some homeschool parents use it because they're like, dude, I don't get it. It's almost like getting a tutor for a cheaper price. Right, so we have everything about the quadratic formula for this one, factoring difference of two squares. We're adding, subtracting radicals for this one. This is book 3. So there's a total of 5 different books. People that were looking at distance, rate, and time word problems. Okay, that's involved in here. And I think there was a section. I think I passed it. Hold on. And I do have a little bit of geometry with reviewing the central and inscribed angles. So there's a little geometry, little data analysis, probability of compound events. There was... Someone asked me about 4-point questions. It's in here too somewhere. Dividing polynomials. I know there's going to be adding, subtracting, and multiplying polynomials. So it's always like a nice little mixture. Oh, here. So geometry for the ASVAB. I had a little bit of something like that. Talked a little bit about the LCM. The difference between the LCM and the GCF. That was huge. That was actually in the last book. And I know it's in here somewhere. As soon as I put it down, that's when all of a sudden it's just going to pop up. So if you want these, this is called Audrey's Notes, just a play on Cliff Notes, but for my geometry, for all my TikToks. So there's that. Okay. Cool. Hey, Lish. We're going to get this. I'm studying for a prep exam. Blah. Oh, which exam? Which prep? Which prep exam? Do you have Audrey's notebooks that have dividing complex numbers, logs? Yes. The C. Okay. CST. That will be book number 4. For the complex numbers, and then plus, hold on, let me say. Okay, before you skedaddle, let me make sure, because I know I feel like I've done so much and starting to repeat. I'm starting to repeat so much. Okay, properties of logs, yes. Properties of logs is in book 4. And what else did you want? Dividing complex numbers. Okay, we divided functions. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I would get book 4. Because even we had like complex numbers, we did the different operations, we did adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. That's like the first page of book 4. So I would say book 4 will be your best bet. Okay. California Teachers Exam for math and science. Ooh, that I'm gonna have to take a look, Delish. Because believe it or not, every state is different. Yeah, because I'm in Maryland, so I'm not too sure. I'm gonna have to take a look. Okay, is there a price for my books? Yes, just go and take a look. Everything's all listed. Let's see. First stage, unblock for fans, descend and celebrate. Repeat, I would not know. Repeat, I would not know. Oh, Lynette. I was like, repeat, I don't know. Yeah. So if anything, that's basically it. And I'm working on a workbook, but there's going to take some time with that one. Definitely will take some time with that one. It usually takes a week. Okay, it usually takes 1 week for me to get books if we do private. If you do through the big A, it depends if you're a Prime member or not. Okay. Spell my last name. It's in my profile. Yep, my name is in my profile. Yeah, and the reason why I don't spell my name is because, we got a lot of scammers that were like, oh, let me just spell my name and then record my voice, and next thing you know, they got me on a porn site. Or maybe not a porn site, all of a sudden they're just using my name. So you can just see it right there. Not a problem. I know, it's crazy. It's so insane what they can do nowadays. Amber's like, shock. Oh, I was like, hello. I know, right? That's why, like, when I answer the phone nowadays, I don't say the H word anymore. Because all they do is record your name, and they just record you. And next thing you know, your voice is being used to help aid somebody to get money out of you. And that's why I never say the H word, because a lot of people, that's how it triggers for people to just set a recording. Sometimes I'll just say my business name, or I'll just get on the phone and don't say anything. I know, people are silly. I know, this is our world. And I know I feel rude because that's not how I was raised. I was always raised to be polite and all that stuff, but not in this world. You can't do that. People... all of a sudden you get, abused because you're polite. Doesn't make any sense. I know. Welcome to 2025. For the HES learning, if anything, Netta, and I think who else is doing something? Netta, reach out, because sometimes I don't want, this is me. Maybe this is why I'm always going to be broke in my life. I don't want you to just buy a book because it's not a workbook. It's just a copy of all my notes, right? So it's just a copy of my notes, and my notes is not like on a consistent pattern. Whereas if we do, say, like a tutoring session, and I can break down where you're at now, and to clarify a lot of your thinking, that seems to help a lot of people to get over the hump. Because seriously, it's great to have these resources, and it is beneficial. But I feel like these are really beneficial for like homeschool parents, for kids that are currently in the classroom that need remediation, that just needs another voice to break things down. Whereas for you, you might just need someone to say, all right, you got an answer key, but what does it mean? Because that's the problem with a lot of these books. Everyone gets an answer key. They look at the answer key and they're like, okay, that's great. I see that the answer is B, but I don't understand why it's B. Like, I need a person to break it down. That's what I do a lot of. Okay, that's what I do a lot of. Because that's what happens. A lot of us get exactly. And it's not just you on beginners of everything. Okay. So if anything, reach out to me. Hit that Service Plus button on the bottom, fill out so you can, so I can get an email from you, and then we'll talk further and to see, because you may think you need something in the beginning and you might not need that much of a beginning. Or maybe you're right. You might need all in the beginning. But I don't want to just say, here, let me give you a suggestion, and I don't know what your skill set is. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, and that goes for anybody. Yeah, not a problem. Like, so if anything, definitely reach out to me. Like, I'm a type of person, I will get back to you, and we will actually either get on the phone or we do a Zoom call, because I want you to be successful. You want to be a teacher. You want to be a nurse. You want to be just to get a better job. Well, if math is what's getting in the way, well, darn it, let's do it. Let's break down those walls so you can get your job and then keep moving with your life, right? Why sit here and struggle? Life's too short. Let's do it. I'm guessing answers. Yeah, Khan Academy, I hate it. Sorry, not sorry. The idea of Khan Academy, when it first came about, is wonderful. But it's not as user-friendly as it used to be. Because sometimes you're just like, wait, what? Why? What's going on? And he can't answer you. You can sit there and ask the question over and over again, but he can't answer you. That's the difference between a lot of online courses. That's why with my online courses, I try to put tutoring next to it. That's why it's more expensive, because I put hey, let's meet once a month, or hey, let's meet like once every 2 weeks, just so you can get clarification, but you're doing the work. You see what I'm saying? Like, you have that self-paced, but then you have a person that you can say, hey, Audrey, are you available at 2:00 on Wednesday? I could be like, oh, yeah, perfect. That'll work for me. Let's sit and let's work for like an hour. This is how much I'm charging. You already bought the course, so obviously you got a discount on this, or it's included with the price, and then we just keep it moving, right? Okay. Yeah, and that's another thing, especially with electronic ones. When you type in the answer, it'll be like 2 times X, right? So say you say 2 parentheses X, but the person that did the answer key will just say 2X. And you're like, wait, 2 parentheses X is the same as 2X. So why am I wrong? That's what happens. You can't, no matter how much AI and how much you have electronic stuff, you cannot replace a human being. I'm sorry. You just can't. You just can't. You can try. It's cute, but you can't. Yep, the same 7 questions. That's true. And then at the same time, Robert, I don't think they fixed it yet. I haven't been on it for a couple of years, but I remember I think it was my 2nd year tutoring, and one of my kids was doing something with Khan Academy, and I noticed there was an error with exponents. It had like x to the 2nd power times x to the 4th power, and they said the answer was x to the 8th. No, when you're multiplying, you're adding the exponents. So it should have been x to the 6th. I wrote them, but I don't know if they changed it or not. I haven't looked. So these are the things that usually comes about. All right. So since I'm close to the end, someone asked me about the GED. If you want to hang on, I greatly appreciate everyone. But if you're just like, okay, or you're rambling, I'm out. I'll see you tomorrow. And tomorrow we are going to go from verbal to algebraic and algebraic to verbal. So I may be using bits and pieces of my notebook as well as maybe separate sheets of paper. Because sometimes it's really hard to rewrite everything. And, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We're going to have fun with that. So that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will definitely go walking earlier. If it is going to be an awesome day. I definitely got to mow my lawn before it becomes a jungle. Yay. Okay. My cat is like passed out on the floor, and I was just like making sure he's breathing. Because you ever see like how he is, it's just like, what? I don't even think you guys can see. Just living his best life. No care in the world. Now he's breathing, but still, it's crazy. All right. So, for those that are taking, I know, rent-free, exactly, not a care in the blessed world. I know, right? Living his best life. Believe it or not, he's an outdoor cat. I slowly started bringing him in like last winter because 9 degrees, like, what are you doing? Get your ass in the house. There's heat. It's not a whole lot of heat, but there's some kind of heat. It's better than outside. So he was very appreciative of it. And then there's another one. She's outside right now. She finally stopped giving the gifts. And I'm so appreciative of it. We had to have a nice little talk. Like, girl, I appreciate you. I know you appreciate me. But the near alive cardinal that you just snatched out in the sky and you're like, hey, I got you a gift, girl. No, I'm good. Let the cardinal live. Just let him live. Thank you. Appreciate you. GED. So I'm going to leave this up here just in case you guys want to take a look at my YouTube channel while I explain this. GED, you have sets of questions. You're going to probably have roughly like a minute and 20 for each question. There's going to be some questions that they will give you a calculator, so you can't bring in your calculator. You can't have your phone with you. You can't have a calculator. They'll have like an electronic calculator with there. And instead of scratch paper, they will give you like paper that has that's been laminated and the marker for you, because that's what I'm saying. They don't care about your scratch paper. It's not like when you're taking a test in class that the teacher will give you partial questions or partial points because, but you wrote it down wrong here, but I see in your paperwork and your steps that you did it right here. Okay, I can give you partial credit. No, there's no partial credit. It's either you know it or you don't know it. It's either you picked the right letter or you didn't. And some of the questions are either 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, or 4 points. Now, 4-point questions, that's going to be kind of going a little bit further, probably midway of the test. A lot of people were saying that's anything dealing with slope, the equation of the line, system of equations, system of inequalities with the shading, volume, surface area. Now, volume, they always either do rectangular prism, cylinders, cones, or pyramids. Now, if you know the formula for the volume of a rectangular prism, when you divide that by 3, boom, you got a pyramid. If you know the volume of a cylinder and you divide that by 3, boom, you got a cone. That's all it is. So it's not like, I got to memorize 4 formulas. No, you really just need to hit hard on 2 and know which ones you're going to divide by 3. Then anything with parallel and perpendicular lines that they're basically looking at slopes, those are 4-point questions. So if you can get a mixture of those questions correct, and even some of the basic questions like adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing fractions, those could be 1 or 2-point questions depending on how they're asking the question. If they're talking factoring is a 4-point question. A 3-point question will be you translating a word problem into an equation and possibly solving. That would be considered a 3-point question, believe it or not. But those are like, everyone keeps skipping the slope. If you skip the slope, you're not going to pass the test. And if you think about it, based on the score that you need, if you can get a good majority of those 4-point questions, feel confident with those, as well as doing well with the basics, you'll be able to pass it. You'll be able to pass it hands down. Okay. The gifts are the best part. Right? So, ASVAB is another one. I think some people were asking about that. When it comes to the ASVAB, it's a progression. Okay, so the more that you do well in one section, then they'll boost you up. So, like, if you start seeing slope, equation of the lines, like, you're doing well. You're in the 40s. Early 50s. When you start seeing system of equations, you're like in the mid to late 50s, early 60s. If you're starting to see volume and they're asking you questions about volume, dude, you're in the 70s. If they start doing composite figures, that means you're finding the volume of 2 or more figures in one shape. You're definitely mid 70s, early 80s. Okay, so that's how they do their progression. Now, as I was saying earlier, they have mostly word problems. So if you are thinking about doing the ASVAB, my suggestion, the best book that I've seen with my expertise, take it or leave it, is ASVAB for Dummies. I know I hate the title myself, but the way that the sentences are worded, it's very similar. I was always told it's very similar to how the test is structured. This exam hasn't done a huge uphold until I think they changed the test slightly back in after the pandemic, when we came back from the pandemic, like 2022. So they just did a couple tweaks and all that stuff, but it was mostly word problems and how to pull those things out of the word problems. So there are a couple of ASVAB for Dummies. That's a free version online. If you type it up, there is actually a free version online, but it's for like armed forces, which that's what you guys are doing. But that's the older version of ASVAB for Dummies. They did the newer version that this year's or last year's. That's the one you should get from the Big A. You should definitely get that one. Don't worry about any other ones that will just say ASVAB math and just focuses on the math. They're trash. It's just a whole bunch of practice problems. It doesn't give you that much guidance like the ASVAB for Dummies does. So, all right. Hello, sweet Eunice. I'm trying to think. T's test, I'm still waiting. I think there's a couple people here on YouTube. Jesus. A couple people here on TikTok. I know a Blessed RN. If you're not following her, let me put her name in the chat. She's really good at doing the doses calculations. And there is another lady, but I don't know her, but I know a Blessed RN does know her. Big A. You're welcome. But if you're thinking about going after nursing, definitely hook up with her. There's another lady that she learned from. I cannot remember her name, but she's always live in the evenings. I've definitely seen her a couple times, and she does a lot of the basic concept. But here's my thing. The math is the math every time. Instead of talking about a colonel with his sergeants, or they're talking about Melissa with 60 million to watermelons. I don't know. They just changed the dialect from based off of what the test is. But the math is still the same. Okay, you're still going to have to do proportions. You're still going to have to do ratios. You're still going to have to learn how to solve multi-step equations. You're going to have to know how to do conversion. The same goes for the SAT or the ACT. So, what else is there? Okay, you're taking the ASVAB? Yes. And we actually had one person that was like watching a lot of my videos, but if it gets to the point that you just need, let's just get a session where like, okay, your thinking's good. And just like I would show you, like, here's a sample test. Which ones will you do process elimination? Which one would you get rid of? Because by you seeing part of your answer, you can get your answer so much quicker in less than a minute. And then that extra time you can use for those problems that you actually want to sit down and read, okay, and try to break down, okay. Okay. It's like NGED. Okay, taking the ASVAB. Okay. Howdy, Jess. How you doing? Not a problem. All right, Amber, have a lovely evening. Yeah, I'm about to like wrap this bad boy up. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay, this is the perfect time to ask. How do you get to me privately? You nasty little canker. Tutoring, yes, we're going to keep it closer. There is a button that says Service Plus that's on your live. Bored senseless. I know. Well, obviously, Jess. I'm bored and I'm coming here for math. There is a button that says Service Plus on somewhere on your screen. I think it's like the bottom, not bottom center, but more like bottom left, I think. If you click on that and put your information in, that will actually send me a text message or an email. So we'll go directly to my email. And then once I get that, we can take it and run with it. Okay. Not a problem. Not a problem. Yeah, because I'm all about helping you guys reaching your next steps. So please, like, if you do just want to send me a message, you want to send me a DM, you can do that. But don't just send a message saying hi. What do you need? Because the way my life is set up, I'm just focusing on working and, hopefully paying my bills and won't have to worry about being on the street. Because I feel like I'm like one situation away from the pole. I'm trying to stay away from the pole, people. Through your help. I feel like in the arms of an angel, keep Audrey off the pole. Yeah, like that thing. Not a problem. I'm trying to be a God-fearing woman. Completing the square or converting for book 4. Let me see. Because right now I'm working on book 6, so it's like for me to remember all these things, don't you know? Because I know I did completing the square so many times already. Let's see. this a word problems? Okay, properties of logs. Hey, boo-boo, you're awake. You ready to go outside? Got tired of me talking about you? Okay, we have slope, we have distance formula. I do have complete in the square. That's in there. Yeah, I think you might want to get this one, because I have complete in the square. But we didn't do... I don't think I ever did converting from quadratic to... no, I do lie. No. I do take that back. Because that's your negative b over 2a. Because I don't think I took it to vertex form. That's what I didn't do. Yeah, I didn't take it to vertex form. Okay. Yeah, I didn't do the converting from quadratic equation to vertex form, but it does have complete in the square inside. Okay, you might get that one. Okay. Oh, hey. Ready to go out? Yeah. We'll give you a little bit of love in a second. All right, so I am going to wrap up again tomorrow. I'll be here at 7 p.m. We're going to go from verbal to algebraic and algebraic to verbal. So I can show you how you do that transition. We might do a little bit of solving and not just do the expressions. So we can get a little practice with solving equations. Give me company. No, he's like, and I just need a snack so I can go out and do my cat stuff. Basically. Yeah, it's the boy. It's the boy. The boy's like, gotta go out and be a cat man, Mom. Gotta go out and be a cat man. All right, so if you have any questions, please, if you need some assistance, I'm telling you, like I said, yeah, I normally charge $87, but I do have a special rate for my TikTok people, but I don't have too many spaces for that, okay? But I do want to assist you on your journey, so let me know. No. He's not really demanding. He's very subtle. But if anyone knocks on the door, or if he knows, like sometimes I can hear if someone's about to knock on my door because my front porch kind of squeaks in a certain way. And if I hear that squeak, it's like literally both of us are both looking at the door, and all of a sudden he's like blocking my way, like he's about to do something. He's a Baltimore cat. He doesn't take any mess from anybody. Even had one of my friends piled up in the corner one day. I just went upstairs to use the restroom, and all of a sudden, Audrey, can you come and get your cat? It's freaking me out. And it was definitely him. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm just sitting here watching her, Mama. Making sure she ain't gonna do nothing. All right. Or starting... Are you finishing up the live or starting? I'm finishing up the live. Yeah. So if anything, definitely go here. Give me some time to see. Hopefully this will upload rather quickly. And then I'll put it on my YT channel with all the rest of them. All right. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll continue to have a little more fun and entertainment. All right, have a great evening. Don't stay up too late scrolling, because you know I would. But no, we're going to try to get an early night of it, because we have to mow the jungle in the morning. All right, guys, take care. Love you. Continue to be amazing people. And please, if you need assistance, don't wait until the 11th hour. Like, get the assistance now, and then if you need to carry it on amongst yourself and you're fine with doing it by yourself, that is the goal. Okay, I just help little birds fly, and you guys are flying on your own. All right, talk to you later, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.